Calibration Toolbox ADO is unique amongst calibration management systems, and one of the reasons for this is the fact that it's developed by people who understand the calibration process and the diverse number of ways in which you're going to have to work in order to acquire your calibration data, both off-site and on-site. So today what we're going to do is introduce to you the concept of the site technician, which enables you to either work in your own laboratory or on a customer's site to perform your calibration work. So we're now opening Toolbox and we're logging in with our username and password, and as you've seen before, there's the summary screen, so we'll get rid of that. And today we're interested in one of our customers, Humpage Technology Limited, and there are quite a few entries there for that customer, but because they're in no particular order, they're scattered relatively randomly throughout the database. If we wanted to group them all together, we just simply click the column header at the top, and there they are, nicely arranged for you. If you just wanted to then look at an individual device's details, double click the entry or single click the view edit button that's in the top right hand corner to open the details. But today what we want to do is to calibrate the pipettes that are for the customer Humpage Technology Limited, and we want to do it for a couple of days ahead. So the tool we're going to use is called Calibration Sheets. The reason why it's called that will become obvious in a few minutes. And here is the way that we pick out the devices that we want to include onto our site technician database. So I'm just pointing there at the fields that you can include. You can clear them all out and start again. Just click the ones that you want. So device number, serial number, customer name perhaps, calibration due date. As many or as few as you want. No point in having too many, just enough so that you can actually isolate the device. So we've picked those, and looking down the right hand side, all of the filters are disabled. So if I click now the go button, you're going to see the columns that you selected, and basically that is every device in the database because you've applied no filters. So we'll go back to the setup page and we'll turn on the first filter. You can use as many or as few as you like. And we're going to pick the customer Humpage Technology Limited. So we pick customer from the list. The list then below then becomes populated with all of your customers. So we'll choose the one we want. And again, click the go button. So now what we're going to do is apply the date filter. So we'll turn off the view all button there so that this filter actually works, the show all button, and we'll specify a particular date range for the calibration due date. So we've picked that particular date, we've selected specify, and we'll just select a couple of dates. So there's the date selected. We then select the to date, the calibration to date. And then click the go button. One thing about the calibration database is it will automatically adapt itself to your local date formats. So what we're going to do, we're going to choose to calibrate pipettes that require calibration between the 23rd and 25th of March. Just to give us an example. So there they are, there are those devices. Now, should you be in a position where, and it sometimes happens, you're not allowed to take laptops or phones or anything onto site, could be a military establishment for example, you'll have to print out the sheets so you can actually write on your calibration data at a later date. To do that, you export to Microsoft Word, you can use Excel, and here's what I've made for you earlier just to have a look at. All of the data is there in a Word document. You can then print them off and then write in and then bring them back to the office and type in your numbers, or do as quite a few customers actually do, just scan in the documents and maintain that as the written record. So there are your Word documents. As I say, you can print them onto paper sheets, punch holes in, stick them in a ring binder, and do what you have to, and then complete the job when you get back onto site. An alternative to that is that you can export to a little database that can be used on a remote laptop, so that you don't have the entire database on the laptop, just the database containing those few devices. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to export those devices into an Access database that can be used on a laptop with the Site Technician software that comes with unlimited usage with Calibration Toolbox ADO. In other words, you can have it on as many laptops as you like, or computers, or Windows tablets. So that has now been exported to the Access database. Also bear in mind that you don't need to purchase Microsoft Access in order to operate this system. All of the files that you need for the Site Technician backend are pre-installed with Windows. So now we are opening the database that we've just created, and bear in mind that this laptop could be 200, 1,000 miles away from the main database computer. So you can email it to them, put it onto Dropbox or whatever you want to do, and there is the data for the technician to do his day's work at Humpish Technology Limited. Basically 5 pipettes that he knows all the information, the calibration points that he needs to record. Once he's done that, he can save that database and email it back to the office or put it back onto a remote system network. So now what we're going to do is to show you how to operate the Site Technician with a laboratory balance to automatically acquire the test calibration data and perform the calibrations for you, and that is coming up in the next tutorial.